Hey everybody, it's Gianmichael, and welcome to our Pride 2023 episode of The Brew. This will be our last show of season 5, and we're looking forward already this fall to bringing you season 6. So much to cover, so much to share with everybody, but we wanted to do this as a means of celebrating, and unfortunately, as schedules would have it during the summer, lots comes up for us. There's a lot going on, a lot of exciting things we're doing at Inner Alchemy Mystery School and here on the Brew. So I am not going to be around for this episode tonight. I'm going to be beginning my first vacation in 3 years. But the good news is we've got a special guest who's going to be with us. Someone very special to a lot of you, and someone that's an important part of my life, and that is Zia Angelina Serafina Tutta-Cosa, my beloved aunt that many of you will recognize immediately, is going to be co-hosting with Michael. So as soon as this is over, we're going to go ahead and let Zia Angelina and Michael Thérèse McQueen take it away. Happy Pride, everybody!
Happy Pride, everybody! Yes.
How are you, my darling?
I am doing well. Zia, how are you doing?
I could not be better.
So, I had a lot of trouble tracking you down 2 weeks at Pride in Philly.
My knees are finally getting back to normal.
Well, we're so glad to have you tonight for this Pride edition of The Brew. And for those who, many know you, but for those who don't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Zia Angelina Tutta-Cosa, and those of you who speak Italian or Sicilian know Zia is aunt, and I am wonderful little Gianmichael's aunt. I was one of the ones that kept him on the not so straight and narrow, and taught him everything that he knows about magic. And and I'm a practitioner, a lady about town, a Butana Zoccola, you name it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're winding down Pride Month, Zia, and I think that this is a wonderful time to talk about the beauty that queer people bring to spirituality, to magic, and how that's different than some other expressions of spirituality and magic. And so why don't you give us just kind of a little tidbit of what your thoughts are on that, and to get us started off?
Sure. Well, as many people know, I left the worldly life. I went to hello, Ellen, my darling. We went to I went to the convent, and almost said seminary. It's really hard to get in character after being away for so long. Anyway, I went to the convent. I thought that I was going to live a contemplative life. And while I was there, it was when I realized two things. One, that the convent life wasn't for me because Mother Superior said I spent too much time on my knees, not enough time. But I also realized that the celebration that queer spirituality is something that need not be in a monastery or a convent or hidden away or in a closet. It's Pride Month, and so we should be proud of who we are, and that includes the whole package. That includes our spirituality. It includes our identity, our sense of purpose in the world. And whether you're gay or straight or bi or trans or anything in between, you're valid, and you're an expression of that creative source that we all are, and you deserve to be celebrated. So let's start tonight by raising a glass, and hello to my darling Marty, who sent me this beautiful Zia Angelina magical glass. But let's raise a glass to everyone not only who's here, but those who laid the foundations for our pride, those who have gone before us, who are now part of the ancestors of our queer spirit, our queer tribe. So here's to you.
Here's to you. So first of all, Zia, first of all, I could not see you in the convent like at all. I do believe the on your knees part, but the convent not at all. But yes, I think it's a wonderful expression that queer spirituality is something that's not meant to be kind of hidden away. And I think that we have this history of dimming our light, because people are uncomfortable or people don't understand or people are afraid. And I think that that is the apex of why so much of queer spirituality is shuffled to the back, is that fear, that fear that people have of us, and that the power that we express out when we live our lives kind of unabashedly.
I absolutely agree, and I think that I would love to hear your thoughts on what the journey to embracing your spirituality and your queerness was like.
Oh Lord.
Was that difficult? Was that easy? Was that something that's always been?
Well, we have to start that, I am a little black boy from South Jersey. And so, being raised Southern Baptist, that wasn't, being queer, being a gay man wasn't a part of that picture. Later on in my life, I would become Catholic because I was like, all I got to do is be celibate. And that's better than just the lake of hellfire because I am. So, and so I became Catholic out of that, of course, because I had this strong connection to the spirituality. I have a strong connection to the saints and to Our Lady. Um, but my transition into Catholicism caused caused a lot of friction. It caused a lot of friction with who I was. It caused a lot of friction with what my desires were, and it took me a long time to kind of align those things because it's for those who know me and those who follow my Instagram and Facebook know that I have this very strong kind of bridal mysticism part of my path, and so much of that translated to wanting that both spiritually but also in life, like of wanting a partner and wanting to have that family life also. So there was always kind of this friction. It wasn't until I embraced a more magical path, starting off in Benedicaria and then ending up in Strega, that I saw that those two things could exist. That those two things could come together, of who my identity was and what my desires were, in this beautiful place of spirituality and mysticism and magic could all meld together, and that one was not separate from the other. And if I rejected one, the other was invalid also. And so it was definitely a journey for me to come to that place of discovering that kind of that marriage of those two worlds for me. And so that's where I find myself today. And those who know me, so much of my spiritual path is about education, of that line of queer spirituality, and especially where that line comes in with kind of mysticism and Catholic folk magic. And so that's kind of where I am at the present moment.
Well, I want to follow up on that because so much of what we do as folk magic practitioners comes from a place of being oppressed, of
Mhm.
being cast aside by the patriarchy and by society as a whole. And so it makes sense to me that queer persons would gravitate toward a more esoteric, more mystical path. And I know that you and my John Michael are part of the Contemplative Order of Compassion, and that they're doing incredible work with helping women have access to reproductive health, with all sorts of gender affirming care, social justice work, recovery and healing. But could you talk a little bit about how a person who might be feeling like they're not connected, like they're marginalized still a bit. How do they get connected to their spirituality when so much of what they might know about Catholicism, cast them aside, was the source of trauma for them, and a source of deep woundedness?
Right. I think one of the things that a later spiritual director for me when I was in college said was that grace builds on nature. And I love that particular piece of it. And I think it's the first place that we have to start is within ourselves. It's about kind of seeing the work within ourselves, not about the institution, not about the church, not about the priest, not about the pope. Like, there's a point where, and, for those who are watching, excuse my French, it's like you have to say, fuck all of that. You have to just kind of just say, well, fuck it. And I think it's what you have to do is you have to look at the parts um, of this spirituality that have resonated with you and have kept you grounded through it all. Because and I think for a lot of queer people, like, we're all marries people, like, we're all marries people. And it's like when I talk to queer people about their spirituality, and what has kind of stayed with them, like, Mary is one of those starting points. And I think it's like, you have to go with what still remains and what still resonates with you, and then you build from there. And then I think the rest is really, it's that healing journey. It's like, you find what resonates, you find what worked for you, and then it's about the deconstruction process. How do we deconstruct this monstrosity of an institution that has impressed so much on us, that has oppressed us and told us that, that we don't have dignity unless we follow the line. We have to find kind of the nuggets of truth. And what comes to mind for me is, like, St. Teresa of Avila and John of the Cross, who were so queer, in my experience, who were such queer revolutionaries within the faith. And I think it's about connecting with that queer vision that even is hidden within the institution. But I think the other thing is also is that you have to connect with community. Like, you have to find other people who are on the same path. It's about finding that community. It's about connecting with people who are doing the same work that you're doing. And I think that the contemplative order of a compassion is a great source for queer people, especially to plug into, for that sense of community of people who are doing the work and doing that deconstruction work and also doing that healing work together. And so that's where I feel with that.
That was a beautiful explanation. I feel like so much of what we do in the work that the order does, and for me, it was a coming home. It was a reason to leave the monastery because for so long I believed that um, religious life was a place where you went to not be encumbered by the strictures of society, where you could do the work to help and heal and take care of the sick and the dying, and then you go back home to your cell and you contemplate and have your time with the mother,
Mhm.
because it's so, what you said was so real for me, that no matter what your path is, whether it's Catholic conjure or it's a form of paganism or a form of esotericism, espiritismo, whatever, you are looking for that, not just what's left, but
Mhm.
what's real. So when you strip away all of the dogma and the doctrine and the schmutz that they put on spirituality, you find the mother. You find the mother in all of her forms,
Mhm.
as Mary, as La Santissima, as Osset, and she's there waiting for you, welcoming you, and I think challenging us to be better practitioners so that we can heal the world by healing ourselves. And
Exactly.
and so for me during Pride, this is an opportunity every year. to key in on a place where we're still broken,
Hmm.
and sends that love that we have for others in our lives to that place. Because I found that if you're so many people are lonely, so many people are looking, they want a relationship with one or more people, they want a sense of belonging in community or in family. But until we learn to look at those places that are the most vulnerable, those places that are the most wounded, and we send all of our love there, then there's nothing for us to bring to the world. And as a result, the world is not going to fill that with another person or persons. It's not going to fill it with the right job. It's not going to fill it with the right home or community, until we become whole. And when we become whole, it changes the whole world,
Right.
and we become better. Someone today asked John Michael, and I was eavesdropping while he was talking to them, but they asked about miracles and
Mhm.
said, is it delusional to think about miracles, to look for miracles? And John Michael said something that I thought was pretty cool. He said that miracles are not are not the mystical, magical things that people make it, that happen rarely. It's what happens on a daily basis when you
Mhm.
come into your power, when you recognize that in order for a miracle to happen, all you do is work with the energy around a person, a place, a thing, whatever the situation is that you want to change, and you shift that energy. And you
Right.
shift that energy by recognizing at any time there's only two things that we're working with. We're either working with love,
Mhm.
which is also wisdom or compassion, the source of the entire universe, or we're working from fear, which is a place of imagining that we could be disconnected from who we are.
Right.
And once you understand that, miracles are an everyday occurrence.
Right.
The miracle that allows us to connect with people all over the world on the show, the miracle that allowed me to show up just as my John Michael left the screen, the miracle that brought the two of us together to do a show like this,
Yes.
having so much fun, trying not to be so serious. But it's a time when I can't help but feel serious, because it's time when we need to lift up the sisters and brothers and others who are not being represented, and that's going on all over the place. And so
Exactly.
if that means I have to get out the spackling and spend an hour putting on the face, so that somebody can laugh and let go of those problems for a minute, it's worth it.
Amen. Amen. You went and took us to church today. Um, but no, it's so true, and I think especially those of us who are out there doing the work, and I think that that's so important because I think that that's the missing piece of our social justice work in this world. Um, that's missing is that people don't want to do the healing work on themselves. They think that they can change whatever it is outside of them by doing that work. But it's just like, but the interior work is where the social justice works begin. And it's like, when we heal those wounds, we have that energy. We can shift that energy in the world outside of us. So it's that's the mission. Like, that's the call. It's like heal thyself and you'll heal the world.
And it's not all serious and
Mhm.
stuff. So what do you do for Pride to celebrate?
Oh, what do I do for Pride? I just enhance my regular sexy self. So, and go out there and be kind of wild. But I think for me, for Pride, for celebration, I think it's most important this Pride in Philadelphia, like, just being there to connect with my community, like, to go out and have drinks and, like, just dance in the streets, like, to have that celebration of like who I am and being able to live in that authenticity, you know, there was a little bit of like, dancing on bars and stuff like that. Cause it's like, cause it's just like being wild sometimes and not doing what society always deems as appropriate, and that's very much where I find myself during Pride sometimes. It's just
and the
kind of
rest
being
of the,
out. Hmm.
and the rest of the year.
And the
Let's be
rest of the
real.
year. Yes.
Each lady's got a lady.
Exactly. So how about you, Zia? Tell me what you do.
Well, first, I polish and make sure that the sling is clean and ready to go because nobody wants to see leather break when a cow is being lifted. Um, then I do my kegels, and then our pride happens in central Pennsylvania where my John Michael lives. There's a pride in Harrisburg. There's one in Lebanon. There's one in Pittsburgh. There's one in York, and there's one in where the hillbillies are in Gettysburg. And so there's a celebration that happens throughout the 2 months, and wherever those are, I try to see if there's an opportunity for me to serve, if there's an opportunity for me to sort of witness by living my truth, and to see if there's an opportunity to find just one or two more tops. And
Amen. Preach. Preach from the
take
Power Bottom
them
Club.
to church. Take them to church.
Yes, yes. Because there's not enough tops, and if you know more tops, call us. You can reach us on the Inner Alchemy page. So yes,
Well, we had absolutely no idea what we were going to talk about.
at
And
all.
I want to remind everybody who's watching tonight that this is a live and interactive show. And if you don't want us to just sit here and talk dirt and talk about the magical things we do with sex toys, then you need to start commenting. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us if you're in a place where you celebrate Pride. Tell us about that. If you're happy to see me, tell us that. If you're not happy to see me, go fuck yourselves. And let's make this a little bit of a party. We've got another 10 or 15 minutes of the show. We've got somebody watching from Sydney, Australia, and they're on Facebook, and they didn't follow the directions to put their name. So I'm going to wonder if that's somebody that we know. Is that you, Mitch?
I think that's somebody that we know.
We'll see.
Let's see.
Well, hello down under. It's one of my favorite places to be.
Love Australia. I was in Australia in
Oh,
2010.
Australia too, I like, but I meant just down under. Yes,
Um,
it is Mitch. Hello, my darling. So, what else is going on? I know you're teaching at the Inner Alchemy Mystery School. I know that this is the last show of the season for the Brew, and I just cannot let this pass because our adorable little Mitch just said, "I love it when you come down under." You're gonna make me a top girl. Um, I will. Anyway, oh, and our darling Jessica is here. She said she tuned in late and missed the directions. Happy Pride.
You're right on time.
We miss you so much. I don't know what's happening to my green screen or to my my attire. I have to try and keep the breasts in the frame because they're very uncomfortable. And if I'm going to be that uncomfortable, there's going to be full tits on screen.
We have to keep this rated PG. Maybe not. So yeah, so like we're continuing with our mission on the Inner Alchemy Academy. I'm continuing teaching the Catholic Conjure course for those who are interested. We are doing holy card divination. So if that's something that you're interested in learning about, just pop on in and pop into my class. Other than that, yeah.
Awesome. We've got so much coming in the new year, things that we'll be talking about. I'm sure John Michael will be doing videos and things like that. And we've got somebody who says, how can I become involved in the contemplative order? Well, that's a wonderful question. Let's talk for a minute about what that is. The contemplative order of compassion is a deconstructionist post-Christian, post-denominational spiritual community of esotericists primarily, but people from all walks of life. It is queer-centric, which does not mean that it's exclusive to members of the queer community, but it means that we celebrate the otherness. We
Mhm.
celebrate the differentness and the uniqueness that every one of us has, whether you identify as part of the queer community or not. When you celebrate that, you realize you're not like everybody else. And our primary focus is in becoming healers in the world,
Mhm.
making sure that that women have access to reproductive health, and those with who are reproducing and womb bearing men have access to reproductive health. It's making sure that those who are seeking gender affirming care can get that, especially at a time when so many laws are preventing that from happening. But we have to remember we didn't just fall off a turnip truck, and John Michael was saying that they wanted to find a way to enshrine this belief that everybody has a right to health care, and eyelashes that don't fall off in the middle of a fucking show. Um, that they have a right to that access, and so we enshrined it in our spiritual tradition. We made it a sacrament because there's nothing that's more sacred than recognizing that you are the embodiment of source. And so we created this entire spiritual community. You can find out more about it by going to the URL that'll appear on your screen once Michael starts talking long enough for me to type it, and I have to put my glasses on to do that. So, tell us a little more about the order while I'm putting that on the screen, Michael.
Of course. So as Zia was telling us tonight, this is all about coming from a place of authentic spirituality. This is about finding and founding a tradition that celebrates all of who we are, and it doesn't matter what walk of life, what spirituality you come from, to be able to enter into this esoteric order. So if you're looking for more information, one of the people that you can read it out to is of course Gianmichael. You can of course reach out to me about information about the contemplative order. Even if you're looking for how to get involved, we had talked about starting communities, of how do we start this work, how do we start moving this work into the world. And so if you have any ideas, or you want to come into some of the plans that we have underway as we begin to move forward more strongly with our presence, you're more than welcome to reach out to me or either Gian Michael of how to get more involved. And as you can see, the link is below. So,
Finally,
yes.
my eye is driving me up a tree.
Yes.
I would tap, but if I do that, even more stuff will fall off. So so we welcome anybody who wants to find out more about how they can either become involved or ways in which you can help to support the work that we're doing. So far, in the last 6 or 7 months, we've helped over 8 women to get access to reproductive health in states where that's not permitted. We've helped one gender nonconforming person have access to abortive care in places where that wasn't available or legal. And by doing that in the realm of celebrating life as a sacrament, um, somebody just said to get my shit together. That will never happen, darling, in 30 minutes or less. Um,
She's constantly falling apart.
I am a Bhutana. I am not Domino's. It's not going to happen in 30 minutes or less, but it'll be worth it. Um, and then we've got the Inner Alchemy Mystery School with so many incredible instructors that are teaching everything from African traditional religious practices and spirituality and tarot and other forms of divination, astrology. It is just I'll be doing a course in 2024 on gender nonconformity and spirituality. Um, and I shouldn't do edibles before I do this show either. Just a note to myself. Somebody just said it's like watching death becomes her. It is. Um, and just to tell everybody, I guess we'll make this announcement and I'll steal the thunder from Gianmichael because they couldn't be here like the little bitch that they are, and are probably have their legs in the air. Anyway, my Gianmichael and Craig, if you don't know Craig, he's just such a doll. They just got a house today. So it's been a crazy time. And that's why it really is like death becomes her, because shit will be falling off as the closer we get to the end of the program. Shit will be falling off because we have papers to sign. And so somebody just asked, hello, my beauties, when is the Catholic Conjure class?
Well, the Catholic Conjure class is ongoing. So, I mean, so you just have to come and join us at the Inner Alchemy because it is an ongoing course. So it is happening right now, quite literally. And so...
And it's, the way that the school is structured, it is it's a self-paced school. So even though there are some events that are live and everybody's welcome to attend those live events, those live classes and discussions, you can start from the beginning at any point in time. It costs $11 a week roughly, to be part of the program. You start wherever you're most comfortable with whatever course or courses you're comfortable, and then take them at your pace. And so some of the classes that my Gianmichael will be teaching in the fall include a special class on a trauma-informed approach to esotericism and magical practice. And I know they are very, very excited about that. And that will be starting in the fall. But there are other classes. There's opportunities for esoteric practitioners to sort of start to monetize their spiritual practice. More information about that's coming in the fall. I kind of feel like Angelina's voice is getting more gruff and more gruff. Pretty soon she's going to be Harvey Fierstein, and she's going to be talking like this. I am what I am. So, such a dainty little bitch.
Such a dainty flower. Yes.
Tell your friends.
I'll tell all my friends. So yes. So what else is there? There's so much coming to the platform, but I just think, yes.
You're speechless.
I am speechless. I am flabbergasted.
Well, we made it to 30 minutes, and at 30 minutes, I promised everybody on the production team, the thousands of people that it takes to make this face look even remotely not frightening. And I promised them that if they were good, they stuck with us for the 30 minutes, I would give them an impression of that popular show that you might have missed on Netflix, which is called Lesbians in Prison After Dark. And so I will give you that impression right now. So first, I'm going to go ahead and go off the screen.
I'm so excited to see what this is going to be. It's absolutely insanity.
And here you go. Lesbians in Prison After Dark. And I'm a top.
Oh, Lord.
Just kidding. Only 50% of me is a top.
Only 50. Yeah. Yes.
50% that's on top of that D.
Yes.
Righty, cowboy.
Yes.
Well, listen, everyone, I want to thank you for being here. I'm so privileged to have had the opportunity to make you smile, make you laugh. People were busting my chops about when was Zia Angelina going to come back. We tried to send her away to the convent as a way of saying, oh, she can't come back. She's in the convent. But a couple people who knew better said, well, they let them out in the summer.
Right.
because they always see the nuns in their really bad bathing suits down the shore. So here we are. Angelina came back. You'll see her again next summer, I'm sure. But thanks for tuning in, Michael. It's it's always a pleasure
It's
just
always
hanging out
wonderful.
with you, my spiritual son. I am so grateful, and looking like this. Any of the lesbians who are watching, if you have a girlfriend who might be looking, don't let her watch this show because I have a feeling that I might be giving out some. I might be serving some lesbian realness and taking the girls off the market.
She's Mrs. Steal Your Girl. That's Mrs. Steal Your Girl right there.
Steal your girl. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We love and appreciate you. And we are going on our hiatus. Are you doing anything special for the hiatus? I got to take these fucking earrings off. They're killing me.
You know, I'm a Jersey boy, so we going down to the shore. Yes.
Where are we going? Down the shore where?
Down the shore, probably Ventnor. I like Ventnor, Cape May. Trying to get to Asbury this year.
Nice,
So,
nice.
party it up.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
party, I was gonna say. Yeah, we're gonna try and get down the shore as well. For those, and we know that those who are watching, like in the South or from the Midwest, are wondering where Down the Shore is. They think that she was that old blonde lady that played golf. You just have to be from Philadelphia or South Jersey to know what Down the Shore is.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we're probably going to go either to Wildwood or maybe to Dewey or Lewes Beach or something like that.
Nice.
We usually go to Wildwood though, and spend some time there or on the crest. So have a wonderful summer. I know we'll still be talking to one another and seeing one another.
Of course.
But for all of you who are watching, have a wonderful time. We really are buying a house, and so it just happened to coincide with my planned vacation. And when you say just happened to coincide, that was all part of the grand plan and the grand work to do what we could with the allies that we have. And so, Mitch, in answer to your question, we'll talk. I mean, I'm happy to share with you what we did to spiritually prepare for that. But part of it is some of the work that you do professionally, Mitch. So there was some of that sort of approach. There was also some sigil work, and anybody who's looking to manifest that house that they want, go to my Facebook page, and you'll find a sigil on there that we've been using and charging. And if you need to know what we do to charge it, I'm not going to say that on the air because then YouTube will take my channel down. So hit a bitch up, and I'll tell you.
Wonderful.
All
Absolutely
right.
wonderful.
That does it for me. Love you and appreciate you.
Love ya.